Hello and welcome back to Women's Football Talk, the YouTube channel that brings you all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football. Now before we get into today's video, make sure you click on that subscribe button and turn on the post notifications as it helps this channel grow, and we have got some very good things lined up for this season. So today we continue our WSL club by club preview by looking at Manchester United. Now Mark Skinner's side finished 4th in the WSL last season in his first year in charge of the club, replacing Casey Stoney. Now United got off to an okay start, and there were some games where you thought, oh, maybe United should be winning these games, but ended up drawing, and ultimately those too many draws cost them their Champions League spot to rivals Manchester City, finishing 5 points behind them, but they had the greater amount of draws, United drawing 6 times to Manchester City's 2. No team drew more games than Manchester United, and obviously West Ham United also drew the same amount of games last season, so that is going to be one thing Mark Skinner's side, as they go into his second season at the club, will look to improve and get more wins on the board. Now in terms of incomings this summer, I think United have done quite well in terms of bringing in a mixture of youth and experience. So they brought in Adriana Leone, Rachel Williams, Nikita Paris and Aissatou Tunkara as the more experienced players in the women's game, not just WSL, because obviously Tunkara hasn't played over here, but the others have. And then in terms of youth, they brought in Grace Clinton from Everton, Maya Letitia from Brighton and Lucia Garcia from Athletic Club. So very good signings for Manchester United, and I do think they've got those 1 or 2 players now that can help United close the gap to Manchester City and make that run for the 3rd place and last Champions League spot. Now obviously United's key players on top of those signings are obviously going to be Ella Toone and Alessia Russo, as well as Onabaje at fullback and Jackie Grunen in midfield as well. So United have got a good core of players that already know Mark Skinner's system and how it wants to be implemented, and everything in terms of trying to get that better. And I think Ella Toone and Alessia Russo especially were going to be really key for Manchester United in bridging the gap to the top 3. And what we've seen from the pair of them this past summer at this European Championships, as they went on to win it with England, shows how key players they can be when it comes to giving performances throughout the course of the season. So I think that's going to be one of the main things to get going, is how quickly can United get going with these new signings and get Toone and Russo firing again. Now obviously a thing that United need to be wary of during the season, obviously not on pitch stuff but is off the pitch, is tying players down. The likes of Onabaje, Jackie Grunen, Alessia Russo are all apparently entering their last years of their contracts. Now if United want to become a consistent top 3 side in the future from this season and beyond, they need to get these key players tied down, and what needs to be happening is turning those draws last season into wins this season and getting more goals, because whilst they still scored 45 goals, the gap to the top 3 is still quite big. So there were 15 goals behind Manchester City, who ended up scoring 60 goals, 62 for Chelsea, 65 for Arsenal. So that's where United need to tighten up and be more clinical with their chances. And I think now Mark Skinner has the versatility options up front. So obviously you got Alessia Russo being able to score the goals, Martha Thomas as well at the team, adding the likes of Adriana Leone and Nikita Paris and Lucia Garcia this season will hopefully give Man United the better options of getting more goals and creating more chances respectively for each player. And having those options, maybe some of them coming off the bench and not starting obviously, then if those games later on in the season or coming towards the Christmas period before we have the winter break, where you think, oh, maybe last season United would have drawn them, but this season hopefully Mark Skinner's side can end up edging and getting the winner in those games. So I think that's going to be really important for United to get right, a balance of getting his core key players playing regular minutes and getting those goals, but also when he brings on those subs, they've got to have that impact to take them games from draws to wins, and then that can hopefully push United over the boundary and get into the top 3. Because it's definitely a squad that can break into the top three. They just need to be, like I said, more clinical with their chances, scoring more goals and turning those draws into victories, which I definitely think can happen this season. Right, that is it for our Manchester United preview. We'll be back later on as we continue our club by club preview of the WSL ahead of this season's launch this weekend. And until then, make sure you like and subscribe with post notifications turned on, and that you are following us on Twitter and Instagram for all the latest news and stories from around the world of football. Until then, we'll see you soon.